Hi there. I've been reading Seymour Papert's Mindstorms, which was a book written in 1980, but it's still very relevant today. And in it, he talks a lot about Logo, this programming language, this educational programming language, where you control a turtle and you issue commands, and it moves around the screen, and you use it to make graphics. So, for example, this is a sample interpreter. Forward 100, turn right 90 degrees, and then you can keep issuing commands. You can issue a bunch in a row, and this should complete a square. And I thought it'd be fun to try to implement this, or at least prototype this in Natto. And I started doing that, and I thought, why not record myself? So here we are. There are a bunch of other commands, right? You can have functions and all this other stuff. But to start, we'll just take in, some commands and then draw some graphics on the screen, and we'll see how far we go. So to start, I've prepared some colors here, but otherwise we have a blank Natto canvas. And so the goal here is to take something like this. So if we take this here and run this small logo program, that should draw a square. So there are a couple things we're going to have to do. We're going to have to parse this string, right? So let's start there. So we have a string here, and we'll split it by new line. All right, and for each line here, we'll take each line and we'll split it by empty space. And so now, all right, so this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna parse first, and then we'll draw some graphics. So render this as a table. Not that we need to do that, but let's change it back actually. All right. So thinking about the state, what we're gonna have is a small little state of the program. So at any point, we're going to have an array of lines that are drawn. And then we're also going to have the turtle. And we'll have the turtle will have a position and a direction. So we can say the direction here will be in degrees, so 0 to 360. And lines here will be, so let's give an example line here. So this is an array of lines. So this one here contains one line. So this here will be one line from 0, 0 to 100, 100, and the turtle is currently at 0, 0, facing the direction of 0 degrees. So what we can do here is we basically want to take this string input here and then turn it into this state, and then we're going to take this state and draw it. So let's try drawing first, and then we'll create the state later. So let's create some. So let's make two lines here. One going from, this is a diagonal line, 0, 0 to 100, 100, and then another line to 150, and let's put the turtle at 150 at the end. So what we can do here is we can call this state. Let's call this state, and we can draw this as an SVG, and and we'll use React as well. So we need an SVG element. All right, we need a view box. Let's make it 400 by 400. And then we'll take each of the lines. So each of the lines is going to be an array. And then we'll map, and then each one will have two points. So x1, y2. Take a look at line here. So x1, y1, x2, y2, stroke. So x1, x1, y1, y1, x2, x2. And we'll give this a key and a stroke. So let's just make this one black. Nice. So we can start seeing this already. This one here, let's stick a background color. All right, so it's and let's give this. So there we go. This is going to be our logo canvas. And so we have one line here from 0, 0 to 100, 100. And then let's make this, all right. So in this coordinate system, 0, 0 is up here, and this is going to be 400, 400. And then the turtle should be at this endpoint here. So let's draw the turtle as well. Circle. All right, CX, CY, and radius. CX. So this will be the turtle position. Let's put this for the Y as well. And the radius will be, let's make it 10. All right, not, oh, okay. And set the fill color to this here. All right, we have a turtle. And we also want to show the direction that the turtle is facing. So let's draw a line on top of the turtle. So this here we'll start at the center of the turtle, and it will go to point in the direction that the turtle is facing. So we're gonna need a little trigonometry here. So let's use this color. And so x2, y2, we're going to want to add the radius here is 10 in the direction that the turtle is facing. So for the x, x is cosine. So let's do that. X cosine of a turtle dot state dot direction times 10. All right, let's do that for the y. So this will be sine. Okay, and so if we go to 90 degrees, that's not 90 degrees because this is in degrees and we want this takes radians. So we can make a helper function here. So we can just call this cosine. So this will just return degrees math.cosine degree degree to radian. Yep. Times pi divided by 180. So math.pi divided by 180. So that's cosine. Let's make sine also. So I'm just option dragging there to duplicate panes. And take that there. And now we can use those functions here. So when I use autocomplete inside Natto, it says add pane input. So this will automatically connect these panes together as well. So 90 degrees is facing down, and then 180 is facing left, and 270 is facing up. Okay, so north 0 degrees is to the right. That'll work for now. We can tweak this later. Okay, so it's at 0 degrees. So let's just make this look a little nicer. All right, so this pane here, given a state, will draw this out. One thing we can do is maybe center this. So let's just add 200 to everything here. And that will make it look a little nicer. Cool. Okay. All right, so all we need to do now is take this program here, this logo program here, and turn it into one of these states. So we're gonna start with the initial state. So I'm gonna make initial state here, and this will be a blank logo canvas. So we're gonna start off with no lines format, and we'll start the turtle off in the middle, and let's actually point the turtle north to start. So if we want to draw this state and see what that looks like, it should be just a turtle, blank, no lines, pointing north. Okay, so here let's change this to a function body. Actually, let's keep this around. So let's filter out the empty lines. So we'll do some parsing here. Let's filter out empty lines. So now I can add an empty line here, and I'll just filter that line out. And once we split it, we're going to want to turn the second value here into a number, but we can do this in the next pane. So let's call these instructions. And what we're going to do here is let's start with the current state. And at the end, we're going to want to return the final state. And in between, we're going to want to run all the instructions. So for const instruction of instructions, we're going to take the operation and the num string, call that this here, and we'll switch on the operation. And so right now, let's start off by just handling 2. Forward and right. Okay, so if we have another instruction that we don't recognize, we'll just ignore it for now. And for the ones we do, so we're gonna go distance here will be parseInt num string. For right turn, we'll do, we'll say degrees here, how far we're gonna turn. And at any point, okay, so distance, so for distance, when we move forward, we're gonna take into account which direction the turtle is currently facing. So we're gonna do, so we're gonna write all this in immutable style, and we'll see why in a little bit. So the new state is going to be, we're going to have to update the turtle and the lines. So for lines, we're gonna push a new line on. And this here will start at where the turtle is, right? So we're gonna, so the start here is gonna be state dot turtle dot position, and the new position of the turtle. So this is what we'll do, right? And so here, this will just be start position and new position. Yeah. And so this here, we have to figure out what this is. But while we're here, we're gonna move the turtle to the new position, but still going to be facing the same direction. So state.turtle, this will just be the new position here. So this new position here will be start position 0, start position 1. And just like before, this logic is actually quite similar to this here. So we can actually copy this, I think. Add this on, and add this on, sign. So again, we can use our helper methods. Although instead of 10 this time, we want to go the distance. Yep, and all right, so we'll check this all out at the end if this is right. But it passes prettiers check, format code. And then for turning, the lines don't change, right? All we're doing is the turtle doesn't change its position. All we're updating is the direction here. So state equals state. We're just gonna update the turtle, state.turtle, and then direction is going to be the current direction. We're gonna add the degrees on, but then we're gonna mod 360. Because we always want that number to be between 0 and 360. And this should do it. So let's click run here. Let's see what happens. Okay, so we have something here with this program here. So with this program here, we're expecting 4 lines, right? So we have 4 lines here. And the turtle will probably go back to its original spot. Okay, I see some rounding error there, but JavaScript math. But this actually looks reasonable. It ends up where it began. Okay, so let's turn this on auto. So this state here, let's connect. All right, so this canvas is getting a little messy, but some of this stuff we don't need. This state here, this one we don't need. This we were just this we just created as an example. So let's connect this one out here. And look at that, cool. So now this should be a live playground. We can draw a triangle if we just do this, if we just rotate 120 degrees each time. Cool. And all right, and the book, he uses the example of drawing a house, which is where you draw a triangle on top of a square. But I thought it'd be fun to implement some time traveling features so that we can debug our logo programs more. And so this is why I was writing this code here using a immutable style, so that instead of returning one state here, what if we return all states, right? And so I'm going to make an array of states, and after each instruction here, I'm going to push the new state on, and then at the end I'll return the states. So now here, we can just debug this real quick. 5, and that's because we have 5 instructions here. Before with the square we had, let's duplicate that. So we can have the triangle logic here. And so this is a square logic. And so with the square we have 8 states, right? And so now state here is an array, while this is only rendering one state. So let's fix that. So let's call this states. So one thing we can do here is states 0, plug that in, and that is only the first instruction. If we do states state.length -1, that'll give us the last state, but all the ones in between. So what you want here is a way to scrub between the different states. So Natto has a state pane where you can, so let's prototype this here. So index, we can make this a number, and we can, so this is a quick way where we can scrub some state. We can also give it a range, but let's start off with this boundless scrubber. So let's plug in this index here. So undefined makes sense. So 0, and then I can scrub. So when I'm within the bounds, we're going to have the state of that step. But it's with the range here, the unfortunate part. So like we have 0 and 7 for this example. So now I can scrub like this. So that's nice. But it'd be even nicer if we kind of want the initial state here as well. So let me just push the initial state on. So now we start off with the initial state and go through different states. It'd be nice if this was dynamic, right? So to do that, instead of using, so we'll keep the state here. We'll keep the state pane here, but we're going to build our own control. And since we're Natto, we can use React. Okay, so we'll just use a range element. Give it min is 0, max is going to be states. So let's take states here. States.length minus states.length -1, and the value. So we can see what this does here. Value equals index, and on change, we'll do set index e dot target that value. See, I wonder if this is this might be fine, but let's see. Console.log. Why this isn't logging here? Oh, okay. But the thing I was wondering is whether this would be a string. So let's just do a small parse int here. Cool. So now this should be bounded by the number of states. Let's give it some styles. Do a little quick styling here. Margin pixels. And then width calc 100% minus 16 pixels. Cool, so that looks good. All right. So this is the code. All right, so this is a little messy. So we can clean this up a little bit. We use those colors. And some utility functions here. So let's make a layout. So let's call this layout present. And in this one, we're going to, what we want is this input, right, where you type your logo. And everything else we're going to hide. But we'll keep this, we want the output here, of course. And we also want this scrubber. All right. And then all the other ones, we're going to hide panes. Hide. All right. Where's the origin? Oh, there's the origin. No. Oh, there's the origin. Cool. All right, and so now if I go back to the other layout, you can see everything here. So let's go to this present layout here, and let's try that example of drawing a house. So here we're drawing a square, and we also need to draw a triangle on top. So this should return us back to the original position. So if we just go back to what we had earlier, copy the square inputs. All right, so we're drawing, this is actually an example that he gives in the book, where you have the triangle inside the square, or the square on top of the triangle. And so we need to debug this here. And so there's a step here where when we're at this state here, when we start to draw the triangle, so this is where we're finished drawing the square, and where we start drawing the triangle. So this is where we go forward again. This is kind of interesting that we're drawing the square pointing up. What if we pointed right first and then drew the square? And so we'd be back to here, and we're still drawing the triangle inside. But let's see. Here we could turn up and then back down. That's a solution. Or we can, let's try that. Alternatively, we could draw it the other way. So we'd have to draw this line here first. Which might work. So instead of this right turn 90 here, so let's get rid of that and let's see what happens now. All right, it's a little better. So this is in between, we just need to turn this line. So how far do we turn here? 30 degrees, that seems reasonable. There you go. And so we've created a small logo prototype. Yeah, one thing here is that this is a text pane, but seeing this, like I actually kind of want to see like where I am in this input here. So I wonder if this is something we can whip up pretty quickly. So we have the instructions here. So we do have the list of instructions here. We just need a way to point at the one that we're at. I'm thinking if there's an easy way to do this. One way might be that we just add another column that's like true or false and see if how far that gets us. Because we have the index here, right? But we do have an initial state, so we'll have to remember to, like, we'll be off by 1. So let's map here where we have the row, and we're going to return we're going to spread the row, but then we're going to see if we're at the right I. So I equals index. So what does that give us? So this is going to be off by 1, I think. If we go, so this is before this. So, let's just YOLO try this. Cool. That seems right. Okay. So this is one way we could do it. Can we make this look nicer? Yeah, so we can spend some, again, we can use React. But maybe we can just do an empty string and an arrow. Otherwise an empty string if it's not your turn. And, okay. Let's go back to the present mode here. Let's drag this up here. All right, so this is a quick hack to show the step we're at. That's not bad. Yeah. So this is the step that we were stuck at before. So we can change this here. So this 30 here, if we change this to, say, 50, we're going to end up with a broken house. But we can play around. So, all right. A quick logo programming prototype inside Natto. Thanks for watching.